Good morning, this is Kathleen Cloud with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, July 26, 2025. As low pressure off the California coast continues slowly tracking inland, the chance for mixed wet and dry thunderstorms continues across northwestern Nevada into parts of Idaho this weekend. The fire potential impacts across the next few days include the continued risk for lightning across northern Nevada and southwestern Idaho today, as well as a risk for gusty winds and low RH across much of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. This warm, dry southwesterly flow remains in place over Utah and southeastern Nevada over the next several days. Meanwhile, northern parts of the basin continue to see mixed wet and dry thunderstorms across western Nevada and Idaho on Sunday and western Idaho on Monday. The past 24 hours show at least a quarter of an inch of precipitation across northern Nevada and some parts of central Idaho, with heavier pockets of up to an inch in those areas. Satellite loop from yesterday evening shows lightning strikes concentrated within this line of storms. In the past 24 hours, we had 12 new starts for a total of 660 acres and a large fire growth of 773 acres. The past 3 days of observed precipitation show the highest precipitation amounts from northwestern Nevada, northeast through portions of central Idaho. These areas received up to 1/10 of an inch with sparse pockets between 1/10 and 1/2 inch. The rest of the basin remained dry, with the majority of the Great Basin receiving below normal precipitation during the last 30 days except parts of western Idaho. The past couple days of scattered rain and thunderstorms have brought ERC values down across the Sierra Front and unchanged across northern Nevada and south central Idaho. Across the rest of the Great Basin, ERC values are back on the rise and remain above 80% for most of the basin and 90 to over 97% for central Nevada and most of Utah. ERC values are expected to continue to rise with multiple days ahead of single-digit RH. Fuels remain critical across much of the Great Basin. Satellite from this morning shows a large area of mixed smoke and clouds across Utah and southern Idaho due to high fire activity on the Monroe Canyon fire last night. But for the most part, our storms are clearing out. Smoke impacts for today include most of Utah and southern Idaho as smoke from the Dragon Bravo fire and Monroe Canyon fire propagates north and east, as well as some smoke impacts across our northern Idaho fires and central Idaho fires. Smoke impacts across northern Idaho and eastern Utah persist into tomorrow, with smaller, more concentrated areas of high impact across Utah as winds shift and take the smoke more to the east. Low pressure across the northern half of the Great Basin brings a continued chance for storms and lightning across western Nevada and southwestern Idaho today, where we've issued a high risk for lightning. Southern Utah and the Arizona Strip have a high risk for wind today, accompanied by single-digit relative humidities. Afternoon wind gusts for today, you can see those purple outflows from our storm risk up in the northern basin, and then you can see those orange values over southern Utah and the Arizona Strip where we're expecting our high wind risk for the day. Forecast precipitation still light, some pockets of heavier rain in those storms, but pretty scattered for the most part across Nevada and Idaho. Our early afternoon wind gusts with that lightning chance, you can see those isolated outflows for those thunderstorms producing dry lightning, and you can see that dry thunderstorm coverage across Nevada and Idaho today. Relative humidities remain in the single digits today. You can see values of 7 and 8 in that kind of southern Utah, Arizona Strip area. Single digits for most of Nevada as well, and teens across the rest of the basin. Maximum temperatures today, not too bad, high 80s, a little bit lower than yesterday. As storms track wetter into Sunday, we've got no lightning risk for Sunday, and even some lower risk areas due to precipitation we expect to see up in northwestern Nevada and central Idaho. You can see the rest of the basin in moderate risk due to those gusty winds, low RH. Our afternoon wind gusts for Sunday, you can see the occasional isolated thunderstorm in these pink colors, and lower wind risk on Sunday for Utah, but still some gusty winds. Forecast precipitation, light across most of the basin, some higher pockets in Idaho and in western Nevada. Minimum RHs for Sunday remain in the single digits, similar to Saturday. You can see a little bit of recovery up north from those rains, especially in Idaho. We're getting into the low 20s, but for the most part, very dry again on Sunday. Max temperatures back on the rise on Sunday. You can see some high 80s, low 90s across most of Utah and Nevada. On Monday, that warming and drying trend continues. You can see most of the basin under a moderate risk due to that dry air mass over Nevada, Utah, and southeastern Idaho, and still some pockets of lower to little to no risk due to those rains we're expecting to see. Afternoon wind gusts on Monday still show those kind of mixed, more on the wet storms in the pink there up in Idaho. And you can see the forecast precipitation is a little bit heavier in those areas, but for the most part, pretty quiet across the rest of the Great Basin. RH values still low, have climbed a little bit in southern Utah into the double digits, but for the most part, still single digits for much of Nevada, and a little bit of recovery where we're going to get that rain. Maximum temperatures on Monday are warmer. You can see we've got triple digits on the Utah Arizona border, mostly in the 90s across Nevada as well as Idaho. The next 3 days of precipitation shows most of our precip across northwestern Nevada and western and northern Idaho. The rest of the basin will remain dry with no precipitation expected over some of our large fires. On Tuesday, you can see that dry air mass remains across most of the basin, and those areas we've had our precip start to dry back out and move into that low to moderate risk category along with the rest of the basin. On Wednesday, as low pressure makes its way into northwestern Nevada, you can see the increased chance for precipitation in these black and green areas across northwestern Nevada, central Idaho, and then in Utah as well. So we're expecting maybe the chance for some rain on Wednesday. Risk on Thursday remains relatively similar to Wednesday, except you can see in Utah and the Arizona Strip, we've gone from moderate to low risk now on Thursday due to the rain we expect to see on Wednesday. And you can see this dry air starting to push its way back north into Nevada and Utah. On Friday, we expect to see higher chances for precipitation in central Idaho as well as western Wyoming, where you can see we've gone to little or no risk in western Wyoming, and some more areas moving from moderate to low with this rain potential on Friday, but mostly dry air across southern Nevada and Utah. The next 7 days of precipitation show at least up to 1/10 of an inch of rain across northwestern Nevada, northwestern Idaho, western Wyoming, and eastern Utah. Pockets of up to 1/4 of an inch of rain are seen where we expect our mixed thunderstorms in the northern basin over the next few days, as well as in southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, where we expect to see the potential for monsoonal moisture early to midweek next week. The next 8 to 14 days show the chance for above normal temperatures across most of the basin, as well as near normal precipitation, maybe slightly above normal precipitation in Idaho. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.